Hello and welcome to Garden Railway How-To series. This episode is about decorating the greengrocer. So today I've got a very exciting box from Terra Models, and on screen you can see the different bits that I've got, some of which are sneak previews for future detailing videos. This fruit box will be the star of the attraction in a minute. On screen I'm just showing the different bits that I've ordered from Terra Models over the Christmas period. Don't know about you, but I'm somebody, when people say what do you want for Christmas, I can tell them what I want for the Garden Railway, but it's usually easier just to ask for money. So this is the result of asking for money over Christmas. So today is about a building that I'm building for the garden, which is the greengrocers. So first things first, we need a tub out of the bottom drawer. One wishes that this was really M&S ice cream. If we can get in it, we'll show you what it is. Paint. Not quite as tasty as ice cream, I wouldn't recommend that you eat it, but we need a few things to go with this. So we need a paintbrush and a flathead screwdriver to open the tubs of paint. So what we're looking at today is part of the greengrocers that I'm having in the Garden Railway. I've ordered some Terra Models fruit boxes. As you can see, they are cast resin, very well detailed, plain underneath but nice detailing on the side. So what we're going to do is paint them, and we're going to detail the greengrocers. So I personally put on a glove, but then I reuse it for future paints until it literally wears through and breaks. So I've already given the paint a good shake, and now with a used lolly stick, give it a good stir. So painting on the outside first, give it a nice coat, and not forgetting afterwards to wash the paintbrush in some white spirits, followed by some water. It's important, I find, to look after paintbrushes. They're not that expensive, but if you look after them, then they'll look after you. So once it's dried, I'm painting the bananas. I chose this colour, but as you'll find later on, wasn't as happy with it, so I'll put on some different tones later on, a different yellow on top, just to give it a little bit more of a banana look. And now onto the oranges. So I actually made a mistake here, and I'll own up to it. I put a bit too much paint on first of all, and it all just kind of wet everywhere, I suppose, and just spread, which isn't what I wanted, but I was reluctant to undo it all and start painting from scratch. I learnt from that, and the apples came out much better. So I'm just weathering the boxes, so just some black on the side in the grooves, and actually I've got some wet wipes, some baby wipes, and just doing that all on the sides, putting a good smudge on either side, then rubbing off as much as I can, and it gives a really nice kind of dirty look. And on these castings, because they are so well done, they have grains on them, so it gets all nice and grained in the on the side. So because I wasn't happy with the bananas, I was painting the top black. I wasn't really sure what to do with it. I wasn't overly happy. I didn't think it looked that well. So ultimately I got a different yellow, and I thought I'll just give it a little bit of depth of colour. Touched it with yellow at different parts with it, and gave it different tones. It doesn't come out as well on the camera actually, but in the end I was more happy with the colour. I may choose to do some more tweaking as it goes on. So now they've been painted, it's time to glue them onto the table that'll sit outside the greengrocers. So this is an old bench that was given a number of years ago, and I've just repainted it. As I'm showing now on screen, I've left the bottom of the fruit baskets unpainted, and I've also left some parts on the top of the bench also unpainted, and that gives a good adhesive surface for the glue. As I've just shown there, I'm using a 2-part epoxy glue. I find for outside, this is really the stuff to use. I just find that super glue is not really up to the job, and quite quickly it holds at first, but then very quickly it comes away. So 2-part epoxy I use for the majority of my gluing. So the idea is that you mix an equal part of the adhesive and an equal part of the hardener, and you need to give it a really good mix. It needs to be a good consistent colour and viscosity. You don't want there to be any hardness or adhesive that's not been mixed together. And now we just need to put a little bit on each part that we want to glue. It doesn't take a lot at all, just a little bit per area, just to make sure each area has been covered, and just a little bit on the bottom of each one as well, just to make sure there's enough adhesive. So I'm just lining them all up. I don't want them too neat, I want it to look a little bit rough and ready. I want it to look realistic as possible. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Put it to one side just to go off now. So for the inside, I've just printed out this photo, found it on Google Images. It's nothing, I don't have any kind of copyright, I just put in greengrocer interior and that was one of the first ones. So most of my buildings have actually got interior that I've made myself, but as this building won't be facing the front of the railway, it's going to be side on and towards the back, I wasn't overly concerned about doing a bespoke interior, and I think I've seen photographs on other people's railways that look very good. So to attach this inside, I've got some Foamex and some off-cut Perspex. So I'm just going to attach it, I'm going to glue it to the Foamex, then I'm going to put the Perspex on top to hopefully try and give it some sort of waterproofing outside. It doesn't need to be an exact science, it's not precise engineering this, it just needs to be able to fit inside, and I want it to be slightly thicker, slightly larger rather than the photograph, so that once I've glued the photo down, there's then enough room to glue around for the Perspex to adhere to without going onto the photograph. So just some PVA, this is builder's PVA, but you can use any PVA, but this one's designed to be outside. Again, you don't need too much, you don't want it all pouring out, but just enough. So I've attached the photograph and now I'm just lining up the Perspex to measure and cut out. Again, doesn't need to be precise engineering. A felt tip pen and a pair of scissors is all that's needed, just as long as it fits the photograph. There, I'm happy with that. I need to take off the covers, and then, as I said earlier, just put a bead around each side of the photograph on the Foamex rather, just to allow it to adhere. I've stuck it down there, I'm fairly happy with that. And now, just to help it to get a good secure fit, I'm just going to weigh it down overnight. And there we have it. What was going to be a simple kit is now a detailed greengrocer's.